Hey there y'all, Disney D Prince, and this is my second tutorial that I am doing, which is more of an experiment where I'm going to be dyeing some Rainbow High Avery Styles wigs. Now, unlike with dyeing the doll's hair, when it's a wig, you don't have to be so careful about getting the head damaged or the face damaged. You can just dunk as your free will. So I do have 3 of these pale lavender ones and 3 of these magenta ones that we're going to try in these 3 colors. And that is the Rit Aquamarine, the Rit Scarlett, and the Rit Black. And so in there is water out of my kettle, a splash of vinegar, some dish soap, and it has been stirred together. This is the same water that I used on my clothes dyeing, and while those are drying, I'm recording this part. And so, first one we're going to do is we're going to do the Avery Styles violet one. So I'm hoping that because this has these tinsel in the hair, that it will still dye properly. But we are just going to dunk and watch and see. We can get everything in there. So I could have actually used a bigger container for that, I'm realizing. But what's done is done. And here with the black, we're going to dip, and already you see that dye taking hold. And hopefully that will give a much cooler sort of look to her hair. And again, with this one, we are going to do, and again with this one, we're going to do it in the Scarlet. So if we dip it, we see it's already taking hold, and we're going to get it down in there until hopefully we get it all submerged. I may add a little more water from my kettle and a little more dye to each of these bowls, which actually I think I am definitely going to do that because the blue does not have enough water to really keep it submerged. Neither does the black, and neither does the red. So we're going to do that. I am going to throw in a little bit more dye in the blue just to really try to get that blue to come across on that violet. And then a little bit more in the black because those clothes were really coming out gray. And actually I'm gonna shake it again. It always says shake well before using. And then we've got about 2 minutes in there already. So we're gonna swirl this a little bit. Really just keep it moving. And the same thing over here in our Scarlet. The Scarlet really does look like blood, which is kind of surprising. And then we're going to swirl the black a little bit more. And so we're gonna let that sit here for a minute. It shouldn't take too long. Most of these are very porous hair, and so we could actually just wring it out and look at it. The blue I want to leave in the longest, but this red I kind of want to see if it's done already. So the red is already looking like this. So let's rinse it and see how much of that comes off. So a good chunk of that is coming off. It's making my water run very red. But it is still definitely tinted, which is good, because that's what we want. We want slightly different wigs so that Avery is not wearing the same two wigs all the time. But I am going to put that back in the dye for a little bit longer, I think. And we're gonna rinse this water real quick, because I learned from my clothes dyeing video, and I'm going to, and I moved this stuff into the sink, which does also keep my floors from getting ruined. And so I think we're getting pretty close to the black being done, most likely. Again, this blue, I'm thinking it's probably going to take a little bit longer just because of the light shade of blue. They did not have that many shades when I was looking at the stores. I went to Walmart and Target, and I didn't find any of the other ones that I wanted. But I should have gotten navy instead of the aquamarine, but I thought the aquamarine would make a nice color for a lot of the clothes, which is why I got it instead. But if this doesn't turn, if the wigs don't turn out in the blue, I also have this Dye More synthetic, which is peacock green, which would probably be kind of cute, but we'll see. So let's see. Let's see where we're at with our black. Again, I just try to grab it by the wig cap, figure out where it's at. So that looks good already. I'm trying not to let it bleed into the others. It is gonna send off some more dye. But it already has a very cute, almost a Maya look to it, or really Jet Dawson, which looks a lot better, I think. So I'm actually going to, I think, leave it in there a little bit longer because it's still looking kind of gray to me right now. But it's very cute. It's very effective, really, because this video so far is only at 8 minutes. So, I mean, that really makes those tinsel highlights stand out a lot more against the black. So, maybe, yeah, because I'm just worried that it's, if I leave it out if I don't put it in for long enough, that it's going to look more swampy green than black because of that violet undertone. But we're gonna take this out, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to get those really just true colors that are gonna show up on this, because this was almost a white, this lilac wig. So it should have a nice flat base where those colors should show up really well, but it's really about letting it sit. And I may need to add more heat to these because I don't know how hot they are anymore. But again, just kind of swirl it at leisure. Use that wig cap to guide yourself. So this is looking a little more blue, which I'm excited by. And then this is looking much more ruby and scarlet. So that's exciting. So we're just going to leave those in there for a bit. And hopefully we can, and you know what? Let's see what this looks like. Let's see what the blue looks like out of the water right now. Or out of the dye. Okay. There she goes. Always remember to wring out as much of it as you can. By hand, always wearing gloves. So that's what it looks like right now, which is actually pretty good. Let's give it a rinse and see how much of that comes out though. Not a ton is coming off of it, which is nice. You can still see a little bit of that violet, but it's definitely more of a blue silver at this point. So that's exciting. And we're actually going to dunk that back in there because I think we can get that a little bit more blue, don't you? I think we can leave that in there for a little bit longer to really just get those colors to set in. There we go. Let those sit in there for just a little bit longer. And that blue didn't come out a ton in there, which is nice. So let's check our red again. Okay. Because what I kind of want to avoid with this red is that it comes out looking like the pink. So that's what we've got. We've rinsed that. We're going to see how much comes off of this. So not a ton is coming off, which is nice. And we're going to just try to get our hairstyle to sort of come back a little bit. See? Alright, actually just rinse it like this to give our bangs a bit more of a look. And you see that red is coming off just a little bit. And I am using cool water to rinse this. But that's where it is. It's really at this sort of rose complexion right now. I think that's about where it's going to stay is what it's looking like. But let's see if this is rinsing off any more dye. Because it says to rinse until the water runs clear. It's pretty close to clear. I'm not getting a ton of it that's running off right now. So I think that's good. That's about where we're at with our red. Again, you can see those scarlet tones. That silver tinsel is still coming through. And again, it looks pretty good, I think. Once it's dried up, we'll see. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna set these aside onto a towel to dry for the next couple of minutes and give them a hot minute to just chill and see what we come up with our black, because I think our black is going to be the next one that's going to be done. So I'm going to take this and move it to the back over here. Because we are done with the red for right now. And so we've got the black that we want to take next. Again, remember to rinse it, remember to wring it before you get it away from your color basin so you can save as much of that dye as you want. And again, look at all that dye that's coming off in the water. It's still not a ton, which is nice. And I think we're pretty close to true black now. It's hard to tell with how much of the rainbow tint is coming across, but it looks a lot more like black right now. But we will, again, just rinse it using the faucet this time instead of swirling it. And we'll try to get as much of that out, because I think that's about where we're going to end with the black. Because I haven't noticed a huge amount of color change since then. And I'm going to see if that's running clear now, or if it is still going to need a little bit more of a rinse. Okay, that's running clear. Okay, so we're going to give that a dry. We're going to wring that out a little bit and set it off to dry. And then we're going to push the black back, and we're going to move this blue over here. And then let's see where our blue is at. So our blue is looking good on the top and on the ends. There is a little bit of it coming off in here, I've noticed already. But we're going to run it under the faucet again to really just sort of see where we're at. And again, these are going to be lighter when they dry, most likely. What we're going to do is we're going to drain that and see if all this has come off. Okay. Okay. So that's where we're at with the blue. It doesn't look like a huge change. So I may take this and make it navy. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like when it dries. And so I will come back with a final video for that with the results. All right, y'all, I am back with the results. We have Miss Avery Styles sitting over here waiting to wear her wigs. So this was the original one that we had. Very violet, a light lavender was our starting point, and these are the results that we had. With the Rit Aquamarine dye, these are about 90% dry, by the way, so they still have a little bit to go, but I had some time and I hit them with the hairdryer. But you don't want to hit these with the hairdryer too hard, just because they will melt sometimes because they are synthetic. But if we pop that on, there is her with her very like ice blue look that she's got going on. So it's not quite aquamarine, it did go into more of that ice blue, but it's a very pretty wig now. Like, that color is great. It works well with the sparkles. Again, you have her head, which has got the little hole in it. So these can go on all the dolls that have that hole, which I think is all of them, but I'm not sure. I've never checked all of them. But any ones that come with a baseball hat, like like ruby, are gonna have that. And this is the black, the Rit black dye that we had. And it did come out more of like an emerald than a true black, but it looks really, really good with the tinsel. Like the tinsel, I didn't really like it in the violet or the lavender. I'm gonna call that lavender from now on. Lavender, not violet. But in this, it works. Like it looks really good. And again, just slide her head in there. And there she is like that. It is very, very pretty. I do kind of wish it gave me more of a true black, which I probably would have gotten with the Rit Dye more, which is designed for the synthetics, and it would probably cover more. But this is a really good alternative. Like, this is a really pretty wig now. Like, just very pretty. And of course, this is still about 90% dry, but it looks really good. And then our last one that we did was the Rit Dye Scarlett, which is right here, which came out less a true red and more of like a mixture between rose and maroon. It is darker than the pink wig that does come with her already. So it is a different shade. Again, this is about 90% dry. It needs a little bit more, but for some reason, rainbow high hair takes forever to just dry on its own, I've noticed, after I wash out doll hair. But this is a really pretty color. Again, you're just gonna put her little... sometimes it's hard to find these pegs, or to get these pegs in those little slots. But she's got a little bit of schmutz stuck in her hair, but I got it. But again, it's a really pretty color. It's a different color than what she had, which was the goal, because I had 3 extra sets of wigs. Now, I did decide to not do the 3 pink wigs yet, because I think I am going to get different colors for them, just based on how these turned out with their dye, and the fact that they don't really come out to that true color. And considering that one is darker, it has lighter highlights in it, but it is a darker wig overall. And so I'm thinking I'm going to have to get the Rit Dye more to really cover those. But it just looks great. Like, it's very pretty. It doesn't look... The problem with all this tinsel is you really can't get a great just tone shot of the hair except for underneath here. And just look at how rich that tone is. Like, part of me wants to cut out all the tinsel, which I have done on a couple of dolls, but I can't remember which ones I did it on to show y'all. But it may have been a Barbie that I did that on, and not Rainbow High. But yeah, it's a very cute color. Again, the hair still feels soft and light, so it didn't mess with the quality or anything like that. And now she's got some more color options, which I love, because this would go great with that dress. And this wig would go great with our black over here with the multicolor sequins. So I think it looks really good. The only part that I'm a little depressed by is the fact that this does look emerald and not black, because if it was black and rainbow tinted, it would be perfect. So part of me wants to get the Rit Dye more and try this again with this wig, and the other part of me just wants to leave it. So I may do the I may get the Rit Dye more for the pink wigs to do that. But again, these are really cute. The whole process only took me about an hour to do, or not even an hour. With the wigs, it took maybe 30 minutes to do the coloring and the drying. So yeah, it's very cute. It's very easy. So if you're like me and you bought Avery styles to get a ton of racks and boxes for your fashion closet, then this is a great way to give these wigs better life. And for anybody who's seen my prior videos and is wondering, I have had it in the comments a couple of times, what do I use for my wigs? These are the Live Doll wig stands. And they do just have a peg, kind of like the ones that we have on Rainbow High. It's a little bit smaller in a different place, and this head is obviously a lot smaller than a Rainbow High head. So it doesn't fit the whole way on there to where it would be perfect and not slide around, but it does hold it up. So it's a great little way to store them. Again, you just kind of got to find that little notch to stick it in, and I stick the my little earmuffs on there also. But it's very cute, and I am in love with these because they're very, very cute wigs now. So I may do a little bit of a photo shoot with Avery later on, wearing each of these wigs and some of our fashions that are drying from when they were dyed, but I am still waiting on those to come out of the dryer. So thanks for watching, y'all. This has been Disney D Prince. As always, if you liked it, leave me a like. If you have a question, leave a comment. And as always, follow along for more fun. Bye, y'all.